it's incredible what a win and a good performance can do for morale and feeling good heading into another game on the weekend. Off the back of what I thought was a good point away at Bournemouth, and crucially no injuries, which I feel is something I think about a lot more than I probably should as a football fan. You just, at this point with the situation we're in with Ramsey and Wissy, you just want to get through without losing any more key players. Given the fixture congestion, if you will. I was so pleased last night. I was really pleased to see such a strong 11. I was a little bit apprehensive about, Bruno, Joe Linton, Botman especially starting and playing 90 minutes just because these guys are so important. But the fact that they've got through 90 minutes unscathed, I thought played really well, is really, really pleasing. And I'm not going to call this game the West Ham game of last season, the sort of turning point. But to score 4 goals, it just felt good. And I think you could see it with the fans, the reaction at the end of the game. The players seemed happy. It just felt like, do you know what? It's just nice to be putting balls away. And obviously we're playing against a lower league opposition, but we're a momentum team. We've got to start scoring goals, and you've got to start somewhere. And I'm hoping that somewhere was the game last night. Just going through the team, I thought Ramsdale looked good. He looked sharp. Made a couple of stops. Not a huge amount to do. Wasn't obviously pressed like he would be in a Premier League game, but I thought he looked comfortable with the ball at his feet. He's a player that I think we've seen him make mistakes before, because he's obviously confident playing out. And I think that's the different dimension that we need from Nick Pope. I think he's pushed on Nick Pope this season. Nick Pope's been excellent, and it's really good having dynamic competition. Dubravka was good competition, but I think Ramsdale is better competition and is the better goalkeeper than Dubravka was. So I think it's good. I think it's really, really good, and I think he did well last night. I know he would have been very disappointed to concede, but there's nothing he could have done about that. And he seems to be a good lad around the place as well. So really pleased with Ramsdale. Back four, thought were excellent. Love to see Lewis Hall back. He's not quite there yet in terms of his absolute best, but to get through an hour of work, again, no injuries, he's going to be so important for us this season. And I mentioned in a previous video, for me, he's the future at left back and has to be playing left back. So the sooner he starts Premier League games, for me, the better. I really like what I see with Botman. I don't want to go too early on Botman, but I was really worried about him and his injuries and whether he was ever going to return to those levels we know. The last 2 games he's shown that he can. The way he steps out and plays, it's just something that I love Dan Burn, but it's just something that he does better than Dan Burn. He's so comfortable with the ball. He gives him and Chow. Although Chow certainly is a risk taker, and I can imagine there'll be some mistakes will come from him this season. The way that they ping the ball into the midfield and spray the ball, although Burn and Shah can do that, they do it at a speed that I think may relieve pressure on our midfield over time. So, love Burn, he's been phenomenal, and love Shah, but these two look excellent, and I want to see more of them, and I want to see them in a 2. I don't always want to see us playing a 3. I get it, but it's not a formation for me, and I think that those two can do it. And I think, again, with Hall, the sooner we see, I'd like to see, Hall on the left, Livramento on the right, Chow and Botman, and I think that that could be the future, but Dan Burn deserves to be starting. He still deserves to be starting football. So I can see why we're going with the 3 at the moment. I do see why that we're doing that. And I thought Kraft did well at right back last night. I really did. I thought he looked tidy. Got up and down. Obviously, he didn't last the full 90 because he's obviously not fit. But he showed why he's such an asset to the squad. Not too much to say on the midfield. I think Joe Linton and Bruno did what they do. Really good to see them both come through, get 90 minutes. I thought Miley was excellent. He looked, again, caveat of the opposition, but I thought Miley looked athletic. I like the way he got around the pitch. He's so big now. His frame is ginormous. So he's able to sort of. He's able to get he's able to get tackles in, and he jockeys players a lot. I'm not seeing a lot of crunching tackles. He's not that sort of player, but the size of him means that he can get around and intercept things and block things. I like that. But his passing, I thought, was excellent. He made a mistake for their goal, but you can't criticise Miley 1 week for being too cautious and playing too many sideways and backwards passes, and then the next week when he does play the expansive passes and takes a few more risks, you can't criticise him too much for doing it. It was a poor pass, but we were 3-0 up at the time, and these things happen. He's a young player, so I hope that he's given the praise and credit he deserves. The forward line, I thought Alanga looked sharp. I like what I'm seeing from Alanga, and I want to see him play more on the right, but Murphy's been more effective, so it's a really nice tussle we've got on the right-hand side there, and I'm happy with either. But I like what I see from Alanga. I still am confused as to whether he's right or left-footed, which is probably a compliment to him more than anything. I like what I see. He made a fantastic run from the right-hand side, coming across to the left-hand side before laying off to Gordon yesterday, and I thought that's what we want to see. You want to see Alanga and Gordon swap inside, being dynamic, running off the forward. That's what you want to see. Asulu, I thought, did well. He's not a Premier League forward for me. I really like him, and I had real high hopes actually in the summer. Before pre-season started, I thought this is going to be the summer for him, and I actually thought we might see this guy kick on and become a valid sort of number 2, number 3 forward for us. He's going to be important for us this season because he's versatile, he's fit, he's athletic, he's explosive, and he is very, very good, especially when it comes to playing Championship or League One teams. And I think for the Cup games, he's going to be crucial. And I'm actually really pleased he didn't go to Frankfurt in the end for obvious reasons. But he's not Premier League. He's not a Premier League level forward, but he is a nuisance. And I think he did very, very well last night. I was so pleased for him to score a few goals. Can't have been easy for him off the back of the nearly transfer that didn't happen on transfer deadline day. But he's a player that you wouldn't want to play against, but he's just a bit clumsy. But he's explosive, and I think he's going to be useful for us this season. I mean, he's our top goal scorer, so you've got to give the guy credit. And then Gordon on the left. I thought Gordon was the end product wasn't there with him, and it hasn't been for the most part this season. But it was just nice to see him on the left hand side doing what he does best, driving inside, going out on the left, coming on the inside, linking up play. I think he'd be frustrated that he didn't get sort of a goal or an assist, but he worked his socks off. We got some crucial minutes in his legs, and heading into the weekend's game against Arsenal, you've got to start him on the left-hand side. You cannot play Gordon through the middle anymore, and I'd rather see Osula start down the middle with Gordon on the left because of what you lose when Gordon goes down the middle. It's not so much that Gordon's he's a limited centre forward. We know that, but Barnes is not Gordon. I do like Barnes, and I think he offers a lot. But I think Barnes has become a player that is really effective coming off from the bench. Gordon has to start on the left, whatever happens, and I think we probably on the weekend go back to the 3 because I think that Howe can't and won't drop down Burn, and I think he goes with the 3. I'm not sure what he does at wing back. I would love to see Hall on the left, Livramento on the right, but there's always a chance that Trippier comes in because Hall's not quite 100% match fit. I'd rather Hall, but I can understand it. We've got Champions League coming up soon after that, so rotation's key. Tonali obviously comes back into the middle for sure, and Bruno and Joelinton will play. I honestly think they will, and I don't know whether they maybe go with the 2 and the 3 up top, or whether they play those 3 with Gordon and Voltemada. I think that probably to me makes sense, and you play Gordon up with Voltemada just off him, running off him, which I like. But it means no Alanga, it means no Murphy, no Barnes. So I could see us going with the sort of 5-3-2 system is what I would anticipate going into that game. Personally, I'd love to see us go 4-3-3. But then you're losing either Botman or Burn, neither of which you would argue deserve not to play. But I would love to see that. I'd love to see that with Hall on the left, Botman, Chow, Livramento, the big three in midfield with Gordon on the left, Langer on the right, and and Voltemada down the middle is what I would love to see. But I can understand why we might not want to do that with Arsenal's threat. I just want to see us go for it, and I think that that's the team. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective of, well, they're a very, very good team. We want to get something from the game, and we've got the Champions League coming up really quickly afterwards. But I don't see us going with a 4-3-3. I think we go back to the sort of 3-4-3 system with I imagine with Tino and Trippier on either side of those three. And then I think you probably see Tonali, Joelinton, Bruno with Voltemada and Gordon is what I think we do. But I'm optimistic. It's sad. It's really sad, and it's a real shame that I'm just so pleased to get through games without injuries at this moment in time. I think Ramsey's going to be so crucial. We're missing Wissa. We desperately need Wissa. But Voltemada came on last night. I've not really seen a player quite like that before. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Mark Viduka in the way that the ball just sticks to his feet. His ability to just trap a ball and lay it off, it's really, really quite something. It's amazing how clearly he's not a 9. There was a couple of times when he linked play up in, around the middle of the pitch or sort of the final third, but he wasn't anywhere near the box when the ball came in because he wasn't there in time. Not a criticism of him, but we're going to need to get players running off him and running past him, and Jacob Ramsey for me is the one from midfield. And it would have been Willock, I think, not too long ago, but I just think that ship has sailed sadly for Joe Willock. But no, very optimistic. Really looking forward to the Arsenal game, and I've got to say, how's team selections this season? Say what you want. I've been pleased to see the rotation, and I'm pleased to see that it's not disrupted things too much, and I hope that continues into the weekend. And God, it would be good to beat those bastards, wouldn't it?